Which of the following hormones is least directly regulated by the anterior pituitary? So remember that the anterior pituitary releases a lot of different hormones. A lot of them are actually tropic hormones, meaning that they basically affect the endocrine function of other endocrine organs. So like they will either stimulate or reduce the secretion of other hormones from other endocrine glands. So this regulates endocrine secretions. Okay. And then there's direct hormones, right, that have direct tissue effects that are not involving basically regulation of endocrine function, right? Like for example, you could have growth hormone released from the anterior pituitary, which also can act as a tropic hormone, but it can also act as a direct hormone where it stimulates growth, like in muscle and bone. Now, we're trying to figure out which of these is least directly regulated. So we're trying to pick the hormone, okay, that is going to act more as a direct hormone, not a tropic hormone, okay? Or rather, we're trying to pick the hormone that whose release, right, is not dependent on the anterior pituitary. So cortisone is going to be a hormone released from the adrenal cortex. And this is under control of anterior pituitary gland secretion, specifically by adrenocorticotropin releasing hormone, or ACTH, right? And that's controlled by the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Epinephrine, however, okay, which actually is the right answer, is released from the adrenal medulla. And that is under control of the sympathetic nervous system, not the anterior pituitary. So B is the right answer. If we look at C and D though, C is progesterone, which is released primarily from the ovaries, okay, in females. And progesterone is going to be under control of like LH and FSH, which are coming from the anterior pituitary, and that's going to be part of the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis. And then thyroxine, okay, which is thyroid hormone, this is also under control of the anterior pituitary, specifically by the tropic hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, okay? And that's going to be part of the hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis, right? So A, C, and D are under control of the anterior pituitary, but epinephrine is not, because that's going to be the adrenal medulla controlled by the sympathetic nervous system.